When we're trying to build a healthy relationship with food, people will often say, well, just listen to your body. And sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming because we're like, first, how do we do that? What does that even mean, listening to our body? And then there's also this gray area of confusion where it's like, well, if I listen to my body, is that I'm worried that that gets confused with listening to my mind, because often we'll be like, oh, well, my mind is saying, that was good, I want to have seven more cookies, or this is what I feel like having XYZ. So that's when it can get confusing. So when they say listening to our body, we can get that confused with listening to our thoughts. And we're not always we're not in control of our first thoughts. We are the thing that is observing those thoughts, and our thoughts are our brain's best guess at figuring out what's going on in the environment, or it's things that are programmed and plugged from like our environment, or things that we've heard all the time. So when it comes to trying to learn how to eat intuitively, I like to shift how we talk about it, that instead of saying listen to your body, because sometimes that can get a bit confusing because we can interchange it with listening to our mind and our thoughts, and sometimes what are those thoughts that are telling us they're not what's best for our body in the future, or things like that. So instead of calling it listening to our body, I like to frame eating intuitively and learning how to build a healthy relationship with food and yourself as learning from your body. So through trial and error, through experiments and experiences, you build data and evidence around what works for you, how things impact you in the moment and down the line, because there's no you that's ever existed before. So there's no way to know exactly what's best for your mind and body and your lifestyle and enjoyment of your experience. Sometimes it'll take some trial and error and experimenting, but if we can not beat ourselves up about it and learn from each step, we get to build evidence. So when we're making decisions around food, we have that bulk of data to review back on and go, okay, right now maybe my mind is saying, ooh, I want that. But from past experiences, I notice that that doesn't really make me feel well, or that gives me heartburn, or that disrupts my sleep. So what I've learned is that it's not the best match for my body right now, or things like that. So instead of thinking of it as listening to your body, think of it as learning from your body. And to learn, it takes practice, it takes experience, it takes a lot of trial and error. So it's not failing at things, you're learning, you're trying stuff and learning along the way. It's all about how you look at it. So when it comes to learning from our body, some of the ways that we can tune in with it as we're recreating, a relationship to it, if our signals could be a little skewed from our body. We have to kind of relearn how to communicate to it if we've been ignoring it for so long. If we've been ignoring our body and the signals for like hunger and fullness or satiation or things like that, then our communication skills will be a little bit less in tune because we've ignored it for so long. So sometimes we need to build that back up little by little. So some of the biofeedback, the ways our body can communicate with us that we can tune into when we're trying to figure out, okay, is this something that actually works for my body as a whole? Maybe it tastes good for a minute, but like, is it actually what's best for my body? Does my body feel good now and in the future with these things? So here are a couple areas to check in with. I call them the biofeedback. I use the acronym SHREDS, SHREDS. So first, with the S, is your sleep. Tune in with check in with your sleep. Are you falling asleep well? Are you staying asleep? Are you waking up feeling rested? If not, then that could point towards some parts of your habit that you're doing right now aren't working for you really well. Then it comes to H, hunger and hormones. Are you hungry all the time or hangry all the time? Or do you have no appetite at all? Or is your hunger and appetite like on a roller coaster? Then that's a little cue that currently what you're doing isn't serving your body super well. And then H for hormones as well. Your monthly cycle, if you're a female, is kind of like a monthly report card of how your hormones in your body are doing. Are you having crazy PMS, crazy cravings? You feeling super uncomfortable? Is it really irregular or heavy or light or all over the map when it comes to your cycle? That's something to look at. If you're noticing that, then you go, okay, currently what I'm doing isn't working for me, so I'm going to start trying to make some changes. Rest and recovery for R. When you work out, are you crazy sore after and it's like you got to take 3 days off the gym? That's a sign that your body's not getting what it needs to recover well, or that workout plan isn't working well for where your body's at right now. And recovery on illness side of things. Are you getting like every cold that comes by? Is your immune system in the gutter? Like you just feel like you're sick all the time? That's a sign. That's how your body's trying to communicate to you. And then we have energy. Is your energy all over the place? Is it super low? Are you tired in the morning and wired at night? These are all signals from your body trying to tell you something. Maybe your blood sugar is all over the place and we need to balance that out. Maybe your cortisol levels are all out of whack because you're stuck in fight or flight all the time. So you're crushed, tired in the morning and then wired when it's like 11 p.m. at night and time to go to bed. Then we have our digestion, which is a really good way to tune in and be like, how am I doing? Do you have acid reflux or chronic bloating or painful bloating, indigestion, diarrhea, constipation, cramping? All of those things are your body speaking to you going, hey, we got to change some stuff, something's not right. And then your stress management. Are you feeling like super apathetic or constantly drained or overwhelmed, like you can't handle the stressors in your life? These are all ways to tune in and see, how is my body working for me right now? So those are important things to tune in with, especially not just relying on like numerical data, like a scale weight to tell you if you're moving in the right direction for your health. We need to focus on all these different aspects of our mind and body, our physical and mental health, to know if we need to change things or if we're headed in the right direction.